Hi, this is Mrs. G from Gadget Lab, and I'm going to show you how to make the clothespin flashlight that came in your kits. I'm going to change cameras. Okay, and what you have in your kit, you have 8 different pieces. You have some coin cell batteries. You have about 6 pieces of copper tape with a paper back. You got about 6 pieces of these little foam adhesive tiles. You have a piece of rectangular cardboard, a green 3D printed battery case, an LED, that's a type of light bulb, a light emitting diode, a black wire, and it has one side of it has more metal exposed than the other, and the clothespin that has a little bit of copper tape, on each end. Okay, so I'm going to show you a finished flashlight. Okay, you can see we've taken the wires and put them into the battery case for both the LED and the black wire. They go through the battery case and back around. Then they attach to the clothespin with copper tape. If you want to try to make this yourself, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to walk you through it. But if you do make it yourself, be careful. You only have like 6 pieces of copper tape and the foam. You only need 3, so you don't have a whole lot extra. So you don't want to, get too far and then run out of materials. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our own like battery case. We're going to pick up the green case. And if you notice, there's one hole is larger than the other on some of your cases. Some of them are about the same size, but you're going to pick the larger hole and you're going to take your black wire and you're going to act like you're threading a needle. You know how sometimes you have to twist the thread before you can get it through the needle? You're going to do the same thing. You can hold the wire and kind of twist it so that the ends of the wire are all nice and tightly kind of wound together. And it's a little hard to see on the camera. Then you're going to go through the bigger hole from the outside. You're going to thread it in like you're threading a needle. And then pull the wire back toward, see how I made like a U? And now I'm going to twist it around the black wire. So I'm just attaching the black wire to the battery case, and it will look like this. Back a little further, and like this on the inside. You want to make sure there's metal on the inside here, because that's going to have to touch our batteries. So if you can see that right there, that's what it should look like. So we're going to take our red wire from our LED bulb and do the same thing. I'm going to twist it like it's thread going through a needle. I'm going to come on the outside of the other side of the battery case, and this hole might be a little bit smaller. And just one note, I 3D printed these on my printer, and I tried to poke through all these to make sure you could get the wire through. If you find the wire's a little stuck, you might want to just take like a pencil or something and kind of poke it through to clear out any 3D printed filament that might be stuck in there. Okay, and I'm going to take the red wire and I'm going to thread it through like I'm threading a needle, the same thing. And I'm going to kind of reach in there and pull it back. And, a pencil might help you if you can't get it quite back up it through. If you put it in there, I was able to just push it through. You might pull it up through with it like a pencil or something. But I need to pull the red wire from the outside of the hole to the inside. And then again, wrap it back up. It's kind of hard to see this wire, but back toward the red wire, and then just twist it around the red insulation. And that's just going to hold our wires in place. And so what you have looks like this. You have a black wire going in from the outside of this one, and the red wire, and make sure there's metal inside of the battery, not the colored black or red insulation. Okay. Now I'm going to take one of my coin cell batteries, and you're going to pop them out of the paper. Okay, just pop them out. And let's take a close look at all of the batteries that you use have both a positive and a negative side. So take a look at this coin cell battery and see if you can figure out which side is the positive. And positive is usually denoted with the plus sign and negative by a minus sign. See if you can find the positive side. And if you found it, the positive side is the shiny one that has a plus on it. Okay, the negative is a little bit bumpy. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our -1 in the battery case, and we're going to put the negative side down on the black, where the black wire comes in. So it looks like this. Okay, this is the negative side down here, and the positive side is up here. Okay, so negative side down on the black wire, positive side. Now we have a gap in there. We're going to take our other battery, and here's the negative side. I'm going to put the negative side down and the positive side up again. Okay, so the negative side of this one is touching the top of the other one, and the positive side is up here, and it's going to touch the red wire. Okay, so again, the negative side is down here on the bottom battery, and the positive is right there. Okay, these batteries are stacked. And when you stack batteries like this, where you have like the negative of this one leading to the positive of this one, that's called batteries placed in series. And so now when you see if you can close this circuit and turn your light on. Okay, so mine is coming on. If yours isn't coming on, sometimes we get a little problem here. There might be a little bit of a gap between the red LED wire and that battery. And what you can do is you can just take, there's some extra copper tape. You can just take some copper tape and take the paper backing off and fold it into a smaller piece. It's kind of sticky, but just kind of fold it up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make a piece out of it. And you can kind of stuff it in there, and that will take up, that will kind of fill up that space. Okay, so see how I kind of stuffed it in there? So if yours didn't come on, you might want to try that. If yours didn't come on, you want to make sure that you're that you've got metal inside of these holes, and that you have your batteries in the right order. Okay, so now we have a flashlight, and it works, but this is not a very convenient switch. So we're going to take a pause for just a minute, and we're going to talk about what's happening here. We're going to talk about electricity and circuits, and then we're going to finish our flashlight. Okay, so to understand circuits and electricity, we have to go all the way down to the level of the atom. And you might already know that everything we see and touch and hear and smell is made out of atoms. Okay, and the three parts of the atoms you might have heard about already are the proton, the neutron, and the electron. Now, the protons and neutrons are not of interest to us right now. They stay here in the nucleus of the atom, and they just stay put. The electrons spin around the nucleus in various orbits. There's little different kind of layers, and each layer is its own, as an orbit of electrons spinning around. Way out in the outermost layer orbit, there's usually just one electron called a valence electron. And that valence electron is far away from the gravity of this nucleus, and you can knock it right off. And when it gets knocked off by another electron, usually it has to find a new home, kind of like musical chairs, but musical electrons. So down here, you see this image of these electrons moving from atom to atom. And while they're moving, they are releasing electromagnetic force, what we call electricity. So we need to make a circuit out of electricity. We need materials that have these valence electrons. And materials that have valence electrons are the metal in our wires. Okay, so I am going to share my screen and show you a picture of a circuit. Here's a circuit, and we can see we have an output, which is our little bulb. It's similar to the one that you're using. We have our wires, and you can see the metal part here, right here at these where the bulbs are. That part is a conductive metal. It has a valence electrons, those metals. The red and the black rubber protect the metal. That's called insulation, and the rubber does not conduct electricity. So we use that just to protect the wires, but electrons will not go through that rubber, and electricity will not go through that rubber. And as you see, we have kind of you could call it a circle here. It's a circuit. And there's completely closed continuous loop. The electrons come out of the battery through the LED and go back to the battery, okay, in a circle, sort of. So the word circuit kind of sounds like circle. Now here's a different illustration. This shows a circuit that has a hole in it, okay? And the electrons cannot flow through the circuit. So the electricity can't flow because the electrons can't go from atom to atom. So this circuit would not work. We would have to touch these two wires to make it work, or put some kind of a switch on. And that's what we're going to do with our flashlight. We are going to make a switch that is going to attach metal to metal. So we'd have to have a little bit of metal sticking out on each of these wires here. And we're going to be attaching the black wires in our circuit. You can put the switch on either the red or the black side. We're going to be putting it on the negative side with our black wires, but it's the same principle. The circuit has to be completely closed. Okay, so now I'm back. So if you were able to make your circuit and close it like this, okay, now we're going to do something. We're going to attach our circuit to our clothespin. But what we're going to do first is we want to put the adhesive on our clothespin and battery case first. It's better to do that now. So you're going to take off, see you have these adhesive tiles. If you just peel one off of the soft wax paper, it'll come right off. And you can just put it on your clothespin like that. Don't take off this other paper. Just leave that on there for now. And I'm going to take another one off and put it right here. And then I'm going to take one last tile. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to use the black side of the battery case. Okay. Okay, so there. That's ready for when we need it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our pieces of copper and we're going to unpeel the paper from it. Okay, and it's a sticky piece of conductive copper. And I'm going to take one of my, this is the black wire from the LED. You can take either one. And I'm going to put it, I'm going to stick it to the wire like that. Okay. And now I'm going to take, and I'm going to attach the wire and the tape to the clothespin. So I'm going to attach it to where this copper piece is. I'm going to put this down here and then just tuck this copper tape around. Okay, and if it's not super secure, don't worry. I'm attaching it. Give it a good hard pinch, and that will help it stay on. Okay, so now if we touch this to the other one and close it, we can test. Oh, look, it works. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing on the other side of this clothespin. I'm going to take a piece of copper tape. This one, the paper didn't quite come off. Sorry about that. I can get that paper off there. And I'm going to put the copper tape on the wire first. That just makes it a little bit easier. So now the wire is stuck to the tape. Now I'm going to put it on the other side of the clothespin. And now we have metal to metal. Now, how come I'm not using like rubber tape for this? What would happen if I tried to wrap this with rubber tape? Does rubber have valence electrons? Would that work? It would not work because this is a metal tape and this metal has those valence electrons. Rubber does not. So now we're almost done. I'm going to take my cardboard and I'm just going to peel off the protective paper from the foam tiles on the and mount that. Then I'm going to peel off the protective paper from the coin cell holder and put that down. And now my flashlight is ready. Now, if you want to, you can take another one of those little foam tiles, if you want to, and attach it to the LED, and then put your LED down on the cardboard. But, you know, if you want to do it that way, you don't have to, but you can, and that will keep the flashlight down. And now you have a very colorful flashlight. This is called an RGB flashlight, red, green, and blue. And why that's interesting, when you see RGB, when you're talking about computers or displays like monitors, all of the colors in the computer that you're looking at right now in your Chromebook or on your television set are a combination of red, green, and blue light. So they make these flashy flashlights in those three colors, red, green, and blue. The primary colors of paint are a little bit different. Okay, so what are the primary colors of paint? Do you know? Well, the primary colors of paint are different than the primary colors of light. So I'll let you find the primary colors of paint if you don't already know it. That can be your research. But the primary colors of light are red, green, and blue, and that's what makes all the lights in your computer. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Sorry. Again, my name is Mrs. G from Gadget Lab, and I have had the pleasure of teaching after school at Piney Branch Elementary. I really enjoy your school, and I hope you enjoyed STEM night, and I hope you enjoyed this project.